What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and today I want to bring you my review for episode 3 of Dragon Ball Daima. This episode was pretty fun. I might even say that this is my favorite episode so far because we got a good little mix of things. We got some lore, some more world building. I got a lot more questions about things. We got a little bit of that old school Dragon Ball humor, and to wrap the episode up, we actually got a decent little bit of action, you know what I'm saying, which I was very much looking forward to. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. The episode starts off with Goku, Glorio, and the Supreme Kai traveling to the Demon Realm. And for whatever reason, while they're in the ship and they're like in space, Goku like strokes his power pole a couple times and it extends and hits the roof of the ship. They know what they're doing. That's some Toriyama humor for sure. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm immature. It got a chuckle out of me. They knew what they was doing. Anyway, in order to get back from Earth to the Demon Realm, they have to go through what's known as Warp Sama, which is that giant fish thing that we saw before. That looks like a goldfish, but is apparently not a goldfish and doesn't like being called a goldfish, as evidenced by the fact that Goku calls him a goldfish and he gets pretty upset about it. Apparently, Warp Sama is very sensitive. Who knew? But when they meet Warp Sama and Glorio's trying to take them back to the Demon Realm, first of all, there's several things to talk about here. I have a lot more questions. So there's multiple demon worlds. That was established in the previous episode because Glorio talks about being from like the 3rd demon world or something like that. And I guess that there is a total of 3. Before they even can get through Warp Sama, he like questions them a little bit. He's like, hey, like I was here earlier, I'm just trying to get back. And he's like, you brought some more people with you. Let me see your ears. I'm gonna make sure that y'all are demons, because I guess only demons are allowed in the demon realm. Makes sense. Seems a little bit racist, but makes sense, I guess. They're just trying to keep it pure over there. I don't really know how they move it. They might build the wall. It is what it is. Goku very obviously doesn't have the pointy ears that like the Supreme Kai and Glorio have. But then the Supreme Kai, I guess, puts his hand over Goku's ear and uses some magic to like make Goku's ears pointy, which look kind of silly. And then they get through and then his ears go back to normal, which when that happened, I was like, I wonder why he didn't just leave them pointy, because if you're going to be in the demon realm and in the demon world, and if it's one of those things where it's like everyone else is going to have those, Goku's going to stand out like a sore thumb. That may or may not come into play later. But yeah, so when they get into like the next dimension or whatever, trying to get back to the demon realm, there's like basically like 3 main portals that goes to Demon World 1, 2, and 3. Now, 2, I guess, is technically the one we know the least about right now, because we get to see Demon World 3 in this one, and we saw a little bit of Demon World 1 before. I don't really know why there's 3 separate worlds, and I want to know why, because apparently from what this episode tells us, there was at one point in time a hole or a passageway that would let you freely travel between all the different demon realms or all the different worlds, and now they're separated. What is the reason for the separation or the segregation? I don't really know. Is it a class system? Is it an economic thing? Is it a power thing? We don't really know, but I definitely want to know more about this realm and why they're separated the way that they are and everything like that. Another thing that we learned is that actually when it comes to Warp Sama, only members or like civilians, people who live in the 1st demon world are normally supposed to be able to use Warp Sama, and then like a select handful or like, you know, specific group of people from the 2nd world are allowed to. I guess if you're from the 3rd world, you're not really supposed to be able to do that. So how is Glorio able to do that? I don't know. Supreme Kai asks the same thing, and Glorio goes, you know, I do some work in the 1st world. And they're like, what kind of work? And he's like, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's working as an assassin or as like a spy, covert operator. Like I mean, when Glorio's still a little bit mysterious, he don't really talk too much. You know, I mean, not like he doesn't really talk that much, but like he's not really talking a lot about himself. You know what I mean? One thing he does say though, eventually at some point as they're flying through the world, we learn a bunch of different things. Like there's floating islands, and it's similar to Earth in some ways, but they have a completely different ecology with different plants and animals that obviously don't exist on Earth. And Goku's like, hey, let me get outside and smell some of this air. And I just thought he wanted to like, you know, fly around and like, you know what I'm saying, like stretch the old legs. He didn't want to be in the ship. I thought he wanted to like fly to wherever destination they were headed toward. Can Glorio even fly? I don't know. That's a good question. We know Supreme Kai fly. I would assume Glorio could fly. Who knows? I guess we'll see eventually. But no, he literally goes outside and he takes some deep breaths and like smells the air. Apparently the air there is kind of funky. There are these volcanoes that float around in the 3rd demon world that spew this gas that makes the air like a lot heavier and kind of smelly. Apparently, according to Goku, it smells like flatulence, let's say. But yeah, Glorio points out something interesting about the Supreme Kai and says you're a Glind, I think is what he called them. I don't think that's a word we've heard before, but I guess that's a specific type of demon. And I mean, even though that all these demons in this realm, they all have the same characteristic of having pointy ears, but there's very clearly many different types of demons, because Deborah doesn't look like Supreme Kai, who doesn't really look that much like Glorio, who doesn't look like Popo, who doesn't look like the Namekians, right? So there's very different types. I assume Glind would be the equivalent of Supreme Kai's like race of demon. Like, you know how the Namekians are clearly a type of demon. I'm going to assume a Glind is another type of demon that the Supreme Kais come from. Yeah, I wonder if they have a name for it, for what Glorio is, because Glorio, he looks like Toa and Mira from Dragon Ball Heroes, right? So I don't know if in Dragon Ball Heroes they have a name for that race already, with the blue skin and the white hair and everything. Well, I guess that also kind of makes them look like angels, huh? There's no, because this is taking place before Battle of Gods and after the Boo Saga. They don't know nothing about angels yet. There's no, he's a demon. Whis doesn't have pointy ears, right? No, he has round ears. Okay, I had to think for a second. It's like, there's no possible way that he's an angel or something, right? But well, I don't know. Like, probably not, right? I don't think it's gonna have anything to do with that. But blue skin, white hair, and we already seen you can use magic to change your ear shape. So I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility. But after giving it thought for half a second, I'm gonna go ahead and say no, that's not what's gonna happen. That's not what's going on here. But it just, it crossed my mind, so I just thought out loud for a second. That's all that is. Anyway, yeah, I think Glorio also mentioned something that like the Supreme Kai's race or himself used to come from the third demon world or something like that. I don't really know what the separation is between these worlds. I hope we get more information on that in the next episode or at some point in the series. So while Goku's running around getting his stretches in, just taking in the new atmosphere that he's in, he nearly falls off this cliff into this pit that's known as the Sea of Darkness. Apparently, if you fall in there, it's instant death. Don't know what they got brewing down there, but Glorio's like, if you fall in there, you'll perish immediately. Okay, I gotta stay away from the Sea of Darkness. You know what I'm saying? Go figure, the Sea of Darkness spells trouble. Who would have thunk it? Eventually, the gang makes their way to a hotel to stay at for the night after Glorio tells them a little bit more lore about the volcanoes, and like the closer you are to a volcano, the thicker and heavier the air is, and the air like slows things down. They got interrupted briefly by some bandits who are almost not even worth mentioning, but there are these bandits on the cliff with like bows and arrows. But again, the air there is a lot thicker and heavier. Goku feels like he's moving a little bit slower, almost like there's like heavier gravity there. I guess it's not quite the same, but I guess it's similar in a sense. And I'm going to assume that this is not the case in the other demon realms, by the way, because Supreme Kai himself was also like kind of moving and stretching and like testing the air. So I guess he's not used to that either. But he is from the demon realm, so it's not like he's never been there before. I don't know if he's ever been in the third world. I'm gonna assume he's from the first world, but like his race or his people were originally from the third world, or like some of them used to be. Again, like I have all these questions. They keep dropping like more and more lore, but the more that they drop, the more questions that I have. I don't know about y'all. But yeah, these bandits like shooting bows and arrows, but the arrows like moving like mad slow and like extremely reactable for Goku, who still is figuring out the mechanics and balance and physicals of his new kid body, GT Goku all over again. But they make light work of them. Glorio whips into action, pulls out the blicky, pop, 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 scares off the bandits, whatever. But anyway, so like I was saying, they make their way to a hotel, and this is apparently the only hotel like around. And he's trying to rip them off. He's like 30,000, whatever their currency was. It starts with the D. I forgot. It's not that important. But he was trying to rip them off. Glorio was like, "Hey, let me holler at you, little bro. You don't know who you dealing with." And he's like, "What are you gonna do? Go to another hotel?" And then Glorio's like, "Nah, you don't know who the fuck you dealing with." And he flashes his gun. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize we was dealing with a YN. My nigga Glorio, he really liked that. He would keep that thing on. We already knew. But I didn't realize he would move the way he moving. You know what I'm saying? So about that price. And then the motherfucker run the hotel. Like, okay, no, you got it instead of 30K. How 5K sound? Cool. Goku's hungry though, of course. So before they crash to the hotel, they go over to the bar across the street to get some food. Mind you, Goku ate a lot earlier, but we already know that don't mean nothing to him. And so they walk into the establishment, and it's like, yeah, they got burgers over there. Let's go get some burgers. And I'm like, They explicitly stated earlier in this episode that the ecology here is completely different. It's different plants and animals. We even see like this weird little not bunny alien looking thing that Goku was chasing. That's how he almost fell in the Sea of Darkness earlier. So the first thing I said out loud when it was like, yeah, they sell burgers over there, I'm like, okay, but what is a demon realm burger made of? Because I don't think y'all got cows over here. And Goku starts scarfing them hoes down. He's like, wow, demon realm burgers are pretty yummy. And he's like, what's it made of? And Glorio's like, don't ask. What do you mean, don't ask? What the fuck is he eating? What are y'all feeding him? Other demons? Maybe. I don't know. It definitely don't look like no American burger, I tell you that. No Earth burger I've ever seen. But regardless, while they sitting there getting they eat on Supreme Kai and Glorio, they drinking orange juice? Question mark? Do they got oranges in the demon realm? I don't know. Bunch of thugs is around the bar or whatever. They start looking at like, hey, you over there, your ear's not pointy. You ain't from around here, are you, son? And then they start throwing down, and Goku, he's like, you know what I'm saying? Goku start getting active. Burger is still in the mouth, by the way. Getting active. Whoop, flip, weave, whoop, punch, kick. Glorio kicks into gear, you know what I'm saying? He get a little bit of action himself. Bam, wham, caught this punch, dodge, weave, boom, sit your happy ass down, you feel me? And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It's the first like real action we've gotten so far in the series, and it was beautifully animated and choreographed, and it was really cool. Pretty funny as well. Like I said, a little bit of humor sprinkled in there because like Goku's like still eating while fighting. And he's like, you know, I still feel kind of heavy around here. I'm still not used to this air. So he started doing his little stretches. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey man, what the fuck, you think this is a joke? And they start trying to attack him, and he's just like, we, you know, backflip. It was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. Mind you, while this is going on, Glorio goes over to the bartender, is like, yo, can I get another glass of juice? And then after all the action, is like, let me get another burger, by the way, because Goku eats like 5 burgers during this whole little instance. And it's like, my belly still ain't full though. And the bartender is like, yeah, just sure, white man, whatever you want, because he's scared shitless now because he just watched Glorio and Goku beat the shit out of everybody in the bar. Like, and they still moving like that didn't just happen. But yeah, and that's pretty much where the episode ends. Oh, before it actually officially ends. So they go to sleep at the hotel, whatever. They wake up the next morning. Glorio gets Supreme Kai and Goku up like first thing, as soon as the sun come up, whatever. And they go back to the parking lot where Glorio's ship, plane, whatever is. And the bandits they fought from last night hijacked that nigga plane. And they left an axe on it with a note. I don't remember what the note said because it was obviously not written in English. And I don't remember if there were subtitles there. If there were, I didn't jot it down or commit it to memory. But yeah, they left his axe where the plane was. They caught that nigga lacking. It shouldn't be that big of a deal though. I mean, like, unless they have to travel between more dimensions or something, I don't really think it matters. I'm sure they'll get it back or figure out where them dudes ran off to. But I'm sure that's going to be part of the adventure in episode 4. So, I mean, I'm enjoying Dragon Ball Daima quite a bit. Like I said, I'm getting a little bit of everything I want from Dragon Ball so far in this series, and I feel like it's getting better and better with each episode. Episode 1, we started off with a lot of recap, but we got a lot of lore dumping and some world building. More than episode 2, some humor. In episode 3, we started sprinkling some more of the action. And I believe that I've been told that this series is going to be a total of 20 episodes altogether. And so, you know, I don't really, well, I guess we'll see. I was gonna say, yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm enjoying it so far though. At some point it's definitely gonna pick up. Vegeta and the rest of the gang are still on Earth and haven't made it to the Demon Realm yet. How exactly they're going to end up getting there in the first place, or if at all, is beyond me, especially because you need a special password in order to get through, and Supreme Kai didn't give the password to Kibito. So who knows, but maybe Goku and the gang will return to Earth and somebody will follow them or something. I don't really know. Yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see it on the next episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are too. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content that I'm bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. And remember, I think an apple and swing the bat. Later.